Listening is a magnetic and strange thing, a creative force. The friends who listen to us are the ones we move toward. When we are listened to, it creates us, makes us unfold and expand. That quote from Carl A. Menninger explains why I'm so passionate about active listening. It's because first of all, if we actively listen to the world, they will be drawn to us. If we actively listen to our target market, they will be drawn to us. We will be like magnets. And when we listen to our team, it creates them. It makes them unfold and expand. It enables them, it empowers them to be all that they were created to be. And isn't that what we want, really, for everyone, but especially for our team? Because we have committed to helping them reach their goals. And with active listening, we'll even sense, maybe even better than they can articulate, what their goals are. Active listening is that powerful. And so I want to share with you the next skill. We've learned reflective listening, interpretive listening, and today we're going to know how to get really deep into what somebody is thinking with a good question. Before I get started, though, I should introduce myself to you. I'm Connie Suarez. I'm a network marketing mentor. I am passionate about helping hardworking network marketers help their teams cross stage. Crossing stage is one of the milestones in reaching your goals. And even if your team has no desire to cross stage, maybe the people who you have enrolled are more interested in earning enough money to pay for their product. You can help them using active listening. And we're kind of in the middle here, right in the middle of 5 listening skills with good questions. And I did have an introductory video before I started into the actual skills. If you want to get the whole video series, if you want to be sure and get all of my videos, the best way to do that is to subscribe to my channel and then ring the bell to be notified when I post. Now, let's get into active listening. Are you ready to open a great relationship with the important person you are talking to? Then you are ready for good questions. We've begun with a reflective question, or a reflective statement, actually, and that just establishes between the two of us that I am listening, and you know that I am listening with an open mind, with a freedom for you to tell me what you're really thinking. And that is very important for me because it helps me release my agenda. We are entrepreneurs. We do have goals. And those are good things for us to be striving for. But don't let them become an agenda that makes us want to force a conversation where the person that we're listening to doesn't want it to go. There is no value in that kind of listening. So let me ask you, have you ever found yourself wanting a spouse or a close friend, a parent, to know what you want instead of having to tell them? Well, to me, the picture comes to mind of a clueless husband asking his wife what is bothering her. And she coldly turns her back to him and says, "If you don't know, I'm not going to tell you." It makes for a funny sitcom episode, but in life, it is anything but funny because, and it's unrealistic on our part. We have to be open. But there are people and there are ways of initiating a conversation that will shut people down. And probably if we looked into the pattern of conversation with this husband and wife, we'd see that the husband had an agenda and the wife was sensing that and and not wanting to go further with it. That's at least one possibility. So we do need to use the reflective interpretive listening, but those are only good for getting a conversation started. What we need to really learn about the person we're talking to is a good question, something that will initiate their sharing with us what it is that they are thinking, what they desire, what their struggle is, perhaps. So, what is a good question? It is a directive question without being manipulative. And you'll see as we go on how that could be. Good questions dive deeper. And asking good questions requires for us to be curious. And some of us may struggle with curiosity. We may be conditioned to ignore our curiosity because we've been taught that curiosity is being rude. And I just want to ask you, would you agree that curiosity is not rude when it is stirred by love and concern for someone else? Curiosity can be confused with nosiness, and there's a nosiness that is rude, but when you're talking one-on-one with somebody and they are, say, let's say they're on the verge of tears, then our curiosity would be driven by our concern for them, our love for that person. We love them and are saddened to see that they are struggling with something. And so we want to know what that is. And we're going to learn that there's a really great way to find that out. That's a good question. That's with a good question. Let's give an example. Your younger sister says she just got a positive test from the doctor, and she may need for you to be curious about the results. She may need for you to be curious about how she feels about the results. Would she have mentioned them if she didn't need to talk about the test results? Put yourself in her position. Does she need to start telling you about what she should do? Does she need for you to dive right into this wonderful solution that your product would offer her? I have that sort of a product, but she doesn't need to hear about it right now at all. She needs for me to listen to her, not advise her. At some point in the future, that will come. But first, we have to listen. So if we have, first of all, if we're very passionate about our product, or if we're just this close to getting to the next rank level, and if she'd just buy this product from you, you'd go over it. Well, in this scenario, I don't think we'd be that concerned. But there are other scenarios where we could be driven by what's in it for us, and we want to be worried about what's in it for them, don't we? We know that. So wait patiently, listen lovingly, and when the time is right, you'll be able to share what is on your heart if you have allowed her to share what is in her heart. And here's a quote from Roy T. Bennett. Listen with curiosity, speak with honesty, act with integrity. The greatest problem with communication is we don't listen to understand. We listen to reply. When we listen with curiosity, we aren't listening with the intent to reply. We are listening for what's behind the words. So, how are we going to help our sister? First of all, we want our question to be directive and to prompt a complete answer by asking an open-ended question. That means a question that can't be answered with a yes or no answer. An open-ended question usually starts with one of the following words: who, what, when, where, why, how. And just a word about why. Sometimes we want to be careful with why, because why can can make somebody feel defensive. It can sound like an accusation if we're not careful. Here are some examples of closed-ended and open-ended questions. So first, the closed. Are you worried about the test results? What would you answer to that? You'd answer a yes or no, or maybe not, because if you're worried about the test results, maybe you don't want to admit it. An open-ended question is, how do you feel about the test results? Because your sister could be feeling a lot of different emotions, couldn't she? Yeah. So here's another closed-ended question. Is blue your favorite color? And that requires a yes or no. And here's a better question. Why is blue your favorite color? That could get you a good story. If you ask my sister, she'll say that when we were growing up and we got sister dresses, I always got the blue and she always got the pink. So blue is maybe not her favorite color, but it I think is above pink. Here's a closed question. Do you want to quit your job? Or what do you see yourself doing in 5 years? What do you like about your job? How is your job going? You get the idea. We sometimes hesitate to ask questions, but if you have used the first two listening skills, you've already begun a process. You've got a communication process going, and it will feel natural to them and to you to ask a good question. Think about asking a good question as providing a service, a listening service. We aren't listened to enough, are we? And most of us just don't have people that will listen. We have people that want to tell us what to do. And so when you offer to listen, you may very well be offering to fill a vacuum. And you know what happens? If there's a little leak in a container with vacuum in it, the air will rush in. And if you're talking to someone who has a vacuum for people listening to them, they will be attracted to you in a strong, powerful way. Here is what you will provide your friend, your family member, if you listen to them with a good question. First, you will encourage them to share what is on their heart. You will help them talk it out. And I have seen people talk out their problem and come up with their own good solution to their problem. And I have come away from watching those moments convinced that listening to someone is a great service to them, because it's opening up one of the best problem-solving techniques, being listened to, so that you can talk something out, and in that talking, figure out what it is that is best for you to do. The next benefit you give that person you're listening to is to assure them that they are listening and that what they think is important to them. So many times we lack that. We lack that affirmation from other people. So being curious, listening is so beneficial to people. You will also be moving your conversation along in a good direction for your friend. And when we are focused on the benefits for our friend, not our agenda, that will feel very good. One of the best benefits to you is that you can't ask good questions and work your agenda at the same time. You further release yourself from that agenda. I don't know about you, but I know that this is very important for me. I have agendas, I have goals and wishes. And so I need to always disengage from those when I'm talking to someone else if I want to serve them. And asking good questions sets us up for the next part of active listening, and that's to give supportive feedback. Up until then, we have been all focused on what they are thinking and what they are wanting. And supportive feedback, as you'll find in the next video, that this is your time to shine. This is your time to talk about your solution. And then it gets you to the point where you can have a confident close of this conversation that provides for automatic follow-up. But good questions can be difficult for these 4 reasons. Once again, we may feel that asking questions is rude. Being curious may be something we've taught is rude. So if we've been taught that it's rude, we have to unthink that. But of course, we have to make sure curiosity is based on the good, the best for others. The other thing that makes it difficult is it takes thought to know which way we can best direct the conversation, because a good question does give us the opportunity to direct the conversation. And I know that for me, the biggest temptation is to direct the conversation towards the latest script that my upline has taught. And it works so good for that individual. But it will not work for me. I've tried all of the scripts and they don't work. And I know now not to even try. But in that conversation, this would be such a good entry into talking about how great this company is, or how great this product is. So we need to be listening for our friends' feelings and the content of her word, either the feelings or the hidden message. And of course, it's difficult because we may still need to release our agenda. Those agendas are pretty sticky for us, but it's all worth it. And once you have asked the good question or two, you will have a clearer idea of what the problem that your potential customer, your team member is facing. If you have a team member that is really struggling with some aspect of the plan that you have taught to introduce the product to prospects, then you need to know what that is so that you can counter it with better training or maybe with just one-on-one support. But you have to be able to hear that first. And you will with good questions. And then you'll be able to move on to support feedback, which we are going to do next. And if you want that, then subscribe to my channel, ring the bell to get notifications, and then you'll be in the loop the next time I post. So next time, supportive feedback. This is where you get to shine. This is Connie Suarez. I'll be in touch.